Hello and welcome to this recommended resources video for Irish history books. And this is myself, Lora O'Brien, and you can definitely find out more at loraobrien.ie or theirishpaganschool.com. And this is originally recorded as part of the Beginner's Guide to Irish Paganism, which you can find over on my blog there at loraobrien.ie if you want the whole series. So just for a brief introduction, and I know most of you are dying to get to the sexy magic practice, the life-changing guided journey experiences, all that kind of stuff, but we really need to start with how things were, and that's our Irish history books. And there are a lot of the Irish history will be grouped under Celtic history, and there are definitely similarities between different historical languages and cultures which were grouped together for academic study and convenience, and that's where we get the term Celtic. And I do have a couple of videos on my YouTube channel which go into, what Celtic paganism is and definitions of Celtic and all that kind of stuff. So go and check those out on Lora O'Brien on YouTube. But as Irish pagans, we differentiate. So even though there are surface similarities between our languages and our cultures with other of the air quotes Celtic nations, we have developed very differently here on our island, and we didn't have a lot of the same influences and a lot of the same colonization that other Celtic tribes had to deal with. So, or Celtic tribal cultures really, because we're not even talking about single Celtic tribes. So just for any other kind of recommended resources, videos that you see as part of this series or anywhere else, all of this kind of applies for every time I talk about Irish paganism. Sometimes we have to look at resources that are termed Celtic, and and there's no harm for that either, because especially when we're dealing historically, it gives us a bit of context for what was going on generally in the world. So that's no harm, but please do keep it in mind. And please note that the links that you find in videos or below are affiliate, which means that if you buy through them, we get a few cents from the evil empire at no cost to you. And any book descriptions are based on the publisher's info. I've annotated them a little bit, but these are my personal recommendations. So all books that I own, but just the descriptions and stuff are sourced from the publishers. And just to be clear, I've not been in contact with any of the publishers. I've not been given any of these books by publishers. These are my own very personal recommendations, because this is where I tell people to start. Basically, that's it. There's nothing else, unless you're clicking through and buying them and it's just a general Amazon affiliate program. I'm not getting anything else by recommending these books. So I think I need to say that just as like a disclaimer. So, The Sacred Isle, Belief and Religion in Pre-Christian Ireland. And this is Dáithí Ó Tógáin, the author, from Boydell Press, November the 4th, 2001. This is the publication date there. So again, little disclaimer, I did know Dáithí Ó Tógáin in person. I worked with him as a colleague in a couple of different events in my professional Irish heritage career. I had a great fondness for the man, both personally and professionally. He was an absolute gentleman in real life. May he rest in peace. So again, that disclaimer is out there. So he was an associate professor of Irish folklore at University College Dublin and an international authority on folklore and traditional literature. So this encyclopedia is, or was, the first modern study of prehistoric religion. Sorry, this isn't the encyclopedia, my apologies. This is The Sacred Isle, Belief and Religion in Pre-Christian Ireland. I'll just give you a spoiler for what's coming next. But the first modern study of prehistoric religion in Ireland to draw on the combined evidence of archaeology, literature and folklore to illuminate practice and belief from the earliest human habitation in the island down to the advent of Christianity in the 400s Common Era, 5th century AD. So one of the reasons that I particularly love this book is because of that combination of the different disciplines, the different streams, and some of the history books or the archaeology books, or looking at the literature or looking at the folklore, I suppose they all kind of come under history generally, but it's, again, you really need the context for what you're looking at when you look at them cross-discipline. Sorry about that. You look at them cross-discipline, and you can make sure that you are getting a more complete picture, and that's what I really like about this book. It does that. So you can get it through the links there, or they'll be below as well. So again, spoiler: The Lore of Ireland, an encyclopedia of myth, legend, and romance. So again, Dáithí Ó Hogan, my apologies, Dáithí Ó Hogan. I don't know why he doesn't have his father's here. He should have his father's on his O, his two capital O's, and his second A. Boydell Press, first edition, May 21st, 2006. So there's his father's in the right places. Fathers are important in the Irish language. That's the accents that you see over there. They elongate, literally means long, and they elongate the vowels that they come over. So this is a very standard reference. It has 350 substantial entries in alphabetical order, with full reference to sources, a synopsis of relevant stories, and discussion of their origin, nature, and development. There's also a genre list at the back of material under mythological lore, Fianna cycle, Ulster cycle, King cycles. So those are the main story cycles, and they are divided up that way as well. Peoples and traditions, religious lore, and folk custom and belief. So it's really, really an invaluable resource. There's a wealth of genealogical detail, a lot about Irish families and surnames and historical characters as well, indicating how historical and social circumstances have influenced the growth and spread of Irish lore. So again, you can buy through the links there on the screen, or get them below. So the next one is Druids, a very short introduction. And this is very short. It's short and sweet, and nice and cheap too, if anybody is on a budget. So Barry Cunliffe is the author here, and it's OUP Oxford. The first edition was May 27th, 2010. The questions that I suppose this book opens with and answers is: who are the Druids, what do we know about them, and do they still exist today? And it crosses a little into later resource categories, which we'll be looking at as part of the Beginner's Guide series, by looking at the origins of modern Druidry. But I do feel it's important, and it's an important and easy grounding in the older history first and foremost. So it really looks at what information we have on the Druids, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. So it's available in many different formats, which I like, but if you get the audiobook, please be aware that the Irish language pronunciation, at least, is not reliable throughout. I'm not sure about the other language pronunciations, but definitely the Irish language pronunciation is very hit and miss. Some of it is okay, but take it all with a bit of a pinch of salt. They have used an American voice actor, I suppose, to read the audiobook, and he does a very patchy job with the Irish language. And I honestly don't understand why people don't get Irish people to pronounce Irish languages. I really don't. But anyway, it's not just an Irish book. So, but there are other books that deal specifically with Irish stuff that also don't do this. So I think it is a thing in publishing, and it should change. So I do have other Irish language pronunciation guides and stuff like that over on my YouTube channel. So make sure that you have a look at that if you want to get the proper pronunciation of various deity names, places, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of that is covered in my Irish language playlist on my YouTube channel. So again, you've got the links to buy that if you want to start there. And then the next one is the Oxford Companion to Irish History, and the editor here was S.J. Connolly. I think various different people contributed to it, quite high profile people actually contributed to it. And this is the Oxford University Press, and the second edition was the April 8th, 2011. And this is an essential reference also to have on the shelf, particularly for those times you run across some level of bullshit on the internet. You just want to give it a quick and easy check over. Now, hands up who has not had that experience, and I guess that there's going to be very few hands up where you're kind of looking at something going, is that right? I'm not sure about that, and you don't know who to ask, and this reference is a great one when it's anything to do with Irish history. There are over 1,800 entries. It's a comprehensive and authoritative guide to all aspects of Ireland's past, from earliest times to the present day. It covers politics, organisations, events, dress, music, sport, diet, so many different topics like the 1978 rebellion, the Irish Civil War, women's history, etc. Really, really is a good one to have on the shelf or in the bathroom, like I keep it, to just have a browse through when you're otherwise engaged. So, Irish customs and beliefs. Did I really just say that on the internet? Of course I did. Irish Customs and Beliefs with Kevin Danaher, who is the author here. And this one was from Mercier Press. It's an Irish publishing company on the 29th of April 2000. So Kevin Danaher, most books by this author are out of print, unfortunately, but if you can pick up a copy of his, I think it's The Year in Ireland, definitely do. He also has a children's folk tales, I believe, which I think is still in print at time of recording, and that's a good one to have too. But this one, The Irish Customs and Belief, is a book of stories and beliefs of all kinds of things to do with old Ireland. Highwaymen and travelling people, Irish white boys, lost and hidden treasures, beliefs associated with birds, insects, animals, plants, bushes, trees and stones, dwarfs and fabulous water monsters, ghosts, witches, castles and drowned cities. There really is a wealth of stuff in there from the folk tradition. And it's a really, really good read. So definitely pick that up for yourself as well. My apologies, that was a mistake slide. So like I said, this is part of the Beginner's Guide to the Irish Paganism series. And there are, of course, many, many fantastic books that are on my shelves that don't appear in this list. And that is no reflection on their worth or value. There are a number of other ones that I could have recommended, but the choices for my Irish history books recommendations were made factoring in availability at time of writing and most general usefulness. So I tried to kind of cover a broad spectrum of Irish history that would be most generally useful to most people interested in Irish paganism, if that makes sense. And also what's available, because that's really important. There's no point in me recommending 10 amazing books that nobody can get their hands on, or that are going to cost like, hundreds of dollars to try and get secondhand. So at time of recording, everything that's in that list is available easily. So, that has to be a factor in a resource list, I believe. So coming soon, I will be doing Irish Gods and Goddesses books. I'll be doing my online sources recommendations for Irish paganism. I'll be doing Irish paganism books specifically, so that'll be more modern books. Irish language resources and Irish cultural resources. And that's just in the resources section of the Beginner's Guide to Irish Paganism. This is going to be a long one, folks, and I'm doing it mostly over on the blog at loraobrien.ie. There's a wealth of material like this at the irishpaganschool.com's both free and paid courses, so go and check those out. We generally keep 2 to 4 free courses that people can access, because obviously not everybody can afford to pay, but if you can't afford to pay, there is, I don't know, 50 or 60 courses over there at the moment that you could take up both in a couple of hours or in much longer kind of weekly or even monthly programs. So definitely join the mailing list and make sure that you are getting the news of all of those opportunities. And the Beginner's Guide to Irish Paganism has its own category over on loraobrien.ie, so you can follow along with that as well. Okay. Slán go fóill and Gurram Agat. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Slán.